Hey everybody, happy Sunday night to everybody. Tonight is November 8th, 2020. It's another day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. My name is Simone, the student teacher. I help educators and leaders tell their story through written and verbal communication. According to Jeremiah 20 and 9, if I say I'll never mention the Lord, I speak in his name, his words burning my heart like a fire. I be trying to hold it in, I just can't do it. So I'm gonna throw this graphic up one more time because truly we are in the 11th month according to the Gregorian calendar for 2020. And we know that a lot of people didn't make it. There's a lot of things that's happening. And while it may have been a trying time for a lot of people, nobody has the power to cancel 2020. And while there was a lot of things that happened with people, there's a lot of great things that happened with a lot of other people. And I shared this maybe back in like October. If you were to cancel 2020, some of the blessings, the miracles, the breakthroughs, the signs and wonders that we have received, we would have canceled those too. And so nobody has the power to cancel time because we are not the creators of time. What we can do is manage the time that God gives us on this earth and be a good steward over that. And so I want to say good evening to all of you. Now, whenever I say it's not going to be long, then it's usually like 50 minutes, right? So you may be with me for about 50 minutes, 60 minutes a night. We don't know, but I definitely want to share all the things that I posted inside of the live. Hello to those of you that's on YouTube that are watching this. I don't get many views on YouTube, but it's still that. Minister Amy, you was talking to a young lady today, so I didn't want to say, hey, I got the books. I just left, but I do have the books. So this past weekend has been, every weekend is every day is the day that the Lord has made. We rejoice and be glad in it. And, some days more exciting things happen to us. Some days we feel more blessed than we are. Some days the testimonies show up. Some days the breakthroughs come. Some days, we just have more to share with people. Some days we're just more compelled to share with people. And so this weekend was one of those weekends where I'm just compelled to share. I made a lot of posts. I posted my brother. Today's his birthday. I posted my mom from her birthday back in October. So I just felt compelled to share a lot. And then I shared that I graduated from a 12-month year-long speaker development program that I've been going through since last November. And it was just exciting. We graduated. We did our intensive back in August. End of August, and then we did our official graduation Friday night, and I was just wholly excited about that, right? Then I was able to speak on her platform yesterday called SpeakerCon, and if you never heard of it, it's a place where speakers, aspiring new. Okay, by God's grace, Sunday, we definitely can do that, ma'am. Thank you. So it's a platform for speakers, entrepreneurs, coaches, who come together and, share their expertise and get poured into. And we really got the whole gamut this weekend. So I'm going to post, I was posting SpeakerCon2020.com. So I'm pretty sure you can go and purchase the replay. It would do yourself some good, seriously. But it was 3 days of power pack things. And while, we used to think that, or a lot of people used to think that being online and in a virtual space, you couldn't really make the impact that you wanted, the impartation wouldn't be the same, but there is no distance in the realm of the spirit. So God can meet you wherever you are. It's just like if you're talking to somebody on the telephone and you can feel what they're saying to you, even through a text message, you can feel what they're saying to you. Or if you FaceTime somebody, you can feel that. And we felt all of that through the virtual space this weekend. And so I'm just forever grateful to that. So one of my signature speech, she helped us develop what is that thing that you can talk about? What is that story you can share regardless of what room you are in, right? And so I decided to share my story of when I first came from North Carolina to Maryland, where I was just in a terrible place. And one of my sisters from church, her name is Kimberly, she always talks about when I first came, like this is like crochet hair, so it's not my real hair. My real hair comes probably down to as long as this hair. But my hair was cut off. Like it was totally cut off. I had like this much hair, literally, and the rest of it was shaved off. So she would always talk about I had to let my hair grow back And I hated that process. Any of you ever cut your hair? Has anybody ever cut their hair short and you had that let your hair grow back? That's one ugly transition. And I wasn't into wigs and braids. And really, when I came to Maryland, I couldn't afford no kind of hairstyle anyway. So I just had to comb it and put a little water on it. Sometimes when I could afford mousse, I'll put a little mousse on it, but it was already naturally curly. So it was just ugly. And she would always say, I remember that little fro. And I always ask you, could you move down? And you didn't want to move down. I didn't want to move down. I wanted to be right there at the edge of that door. So when service was over, I was out of there. I didn't know nobody say anything to me. I was just trying to get the word. I was trying to get better. Right? So when I came to Maryland 5 years ago, I work at a Title I school, and I've been there ever since. The guy that hired me on the telephone. And I told him, I said, I'm not from Maryland. I don't really know anything. He asked me where was I trying to live. I told him I had found me a church prior to coming here, so I knew, okay, this is gonna work out for me. And I told him the type of the church I was going to. He says, oh yeah, and it was a female, actually. It was another female. That was my first time ever having a female pastor. So he said, okay, and he said, I'm gonna find you some apartments that's close by that church, and that's close by, where it won't be too far from the school, and it's gonna be, nice and safe. I said, thank you. The day I came to Maryland and signed my contract, I went to the school and met him. I never met him before. He took me into his office. He was so nice. He showed me all the apartments and gave me everything. The next day when I went back, the next day that I went back, the next time I went back to my job, I found out that same day was his last day working. I never worked with the man. God just positioned him to hire me. My principal now, I have a great relationship with him, like a good relationship with him. And one of the things the Lord told me before, well, when I first came to Maryland, he says, I need you to go back and apologize to 3 people at your former job. And when you do, you're going to find favor on your next job. You're going to find favor with somebody that's from Rich Square. These are the exact words Holy Spirit was telling me in my mind, right? And first of all, I didn't want to apologize to nobody, because those 3 people he pinpointed to me, I was like, yo, they wasn't kind. They wasn't nice. I don't want to say an apology to him. But what he told me, if you do this, you going to find favor on your next job. And I know, I guess because God knows everything. It's like, girl, let me tell you why I need you to do this. Because you can be a little stubborn. You can be a little obstinate, a little stubborn in your heart. So let me tell you why it's beneficial for you to do this. Okay. Outside the fact, I just need you to obey me. I got emails for one of them, and I responded to all 3 of them. And I said, I apologize for the way I treated you guys, the way I acted. Please forgive me. One responded back and she says, please forgive me too. After that, I was like, I did what you told me to do, Lord, right? So here I am here in Maryland. I didn't know any of my administrators. I didn't even know anybody was from the little cities that I'm from back home. Rich Square is maybe 15 minutes away from where I grew up. So I get to Maryland. I got my little fro going on. I'm going to show you guys, maybe not tonight, but I'm going to show you guys a picture of what I looked like when I came and I took that it really looked like a mugshot of my school ID. Every time I look at it, I'm like, my gosh, maybe I could just go pay $5 and get a new ID. But it reminds me of where I was. So came here. Takes a long time to get your years of experience verified. What? Okay, guys, it says that my camera was unplugged. I don't know what happened. So anyway, so it took me like two almost 3 months for my years of experience to be verified. So what I was supposed to be making on a 10-year step, I was making on a 0, 1, 2, 0. I think it's like 0 step. So I was getting paid as a beginning teacher. It was like a huge difference. And so I couldn't make it. I couldn't afford it. I had to ask my mom for money all the time. And then after a while, I just got tired. And so I started in my classroom what they call a sharing table. Work at a free and reduced. I work at a Title I school. And Title I doesn't mean bad. Title I doesn't mean dumb. Title I doesn't mean that's going to be a horrible experience. I have a great experience at the school that I teach at. So we have free reduced lunch, and a lot of them, they would eat before they came to school. So they would get the breakfast and they would put it in the trash. And because of the program, if a certain amount of students didn't get it, it was going to be cut. So we would encourage them, get your breakfast, bring it back to the classroom. So they did. And I told them, listen, just keep it on the table. Here's a table. I seen one of my coworkers do it. That's why I started. So I said, put your breakfast here. If you don't want it, leave it here. In the afternoon, if anybody wants something to snack on or take it with you, you can take it with you. Well, as the week started going by, that sharing table became, I became a recipient of that sharing table. I would take the cereal. I would take the graham crackers. I would take the concentrated juice that probably really wasn't juice. I would, hey, Miss Joyce. I would take the milk that sometimes was spoiled, and I was sticking inside my book sack. And I always say book sack. They used to say, why do you call it a book sack? Well, it's a sack that you put your books in. I know some people call it a book bag, right? So I would take them, put it in my book bag, my book sack, and I would bring it home because I didn't have money. I was tired of asking my mom for stuff. I could barely make it. And so many, many nights I was eating that cereal. I was eating that graham cracker because I did not have it. And I will never forget that story because that sharing table in our classroom changed my life. And the Lord used those students that year. I'm forever grateful to them. And some of them I'm still able to communicate with. One of my students, I taught her in 6th grade, and she was like, oh my God, you taught my brother. And I said, yeah, I did. And now I have her again in 8th grade because I'm teaching 8th grade this year. And her brother is with her. And I've been able to talk to him since we're in the virtual space. And so to see how God used those children, and he was showing me, this is you, and this is what I need you to pray for, and this is what I need you to pray for, and this is what I need you to pray for. So while I was praying for students, I was also praying for myself. And that's how my first book came to be. That's how, it was so many things that happened out of the experience. But I started here with nothing. I would stay at school till 8 o'clock at night because my teacher's desk was more comfortable than me coming home to sleep on the floor. I would stay and I would watch TV because I can sit up in the desk and be more comfortable than coming home and sitting in the little, little chairs you get like if you're going to like a sporting event, little long chairs. It was starting to wear and tear because I had a whole storage room of furniture, but it was in Charlotte and I couldn't afford to bring it up here. So, when I tell you, I look back over where God has brought me, and I always say, hey, mama, I always say my hair was a reflection of my growth. When I came here, my hair was cut all the way off. And now, of course, you can't really see it because I got these braids, but it's literally as long as my hair now. So I'm forever and grateful and thankful. And so that's what my speech was talking about, overcoming the dirty yes. Brene Brown says it like this. When you say yes to people's face, but you say no behind their back. When you told people yeah, because you get caught up in the moment, you get caught up in the situation, and you say, oh, yeah. But then really in your heart, you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. Right? But the student teacher version of the dirty yes is when you say yes to everybody else, but you say no to yourself. When you say yes to everybody else, but you keep saying no to yourself. And so this is really talking about how to prioritize yourself and not make yourself an option. And why this is not a message to be selfish. It's not a message where, we are not considerate of other people. This is what my former pastor used to say in Charlotte. He used to say, I'm concerned, but I'm not responsible. And a lot of times we get real concerned with people, right? And we try to take on, we want to become responsible for their situation, their life, and their circumstance, when really sometimes we're not able to do that. And when you do that, especially if you're given a dirty yes, you feel like there's an obligation for them to return the favor for you. That's why when we say yes to people, we got to make sure that it's a yes coming from our heart, and it's not coming from a place where I want you to owe me later, or I'm going to hold it in my heart if you don't. If the return that I'm looking for is not what you give me, especially when you don't even make that very clear, because sometimes we can get all caught up in our feelings and our emotions, right? Pastor Raymond's wife, I think Miss Delia said this one time before. She says, if you Don't get fooled by your feelings, because your feelings will leave you like a fool. So sometimes we have to rationally think about things before we say yes to it. But we have to prioritize ourselves first to make sure that we're good, right? The Bible says this. This is the word of the Lord. It says, don't, and I'm kind of paraphrasing. I'm gonna find the actual scripture, but it talks about like, don't co-sign for somebody's debt. If somebody come and ask you to like co-sign, don't do that. The word says that, right? Because then you become responsible if that person fails to pay, right? The same way, if you can't give somebody something, I've learned this the hard way. If you can't give somebody something, right now, if there's been an agreement that they're going to give it back to you, I'm not saying that, but if people come to you and say, hey, I really, really need, if you don't have it to relinquish and not expect it back, I would say probably don't give it, because it's a good chance if they're coming to you asking you for something that they don't have it at the time. Now, some people will do you wrong and don't give it back and act like it never happened, right? And so that's when you say, God, help me to release this person. And I know that this was a seed that I placed in somebody else, and it's going to reap a harvest. Sometimes where we sow seeds, we won't get the harvest back, right? So overcoming the dirty is prioritizing yourself. The first thing is make a decision. You have to absolutely make a decision. What is it that you want? I used to be the person who would make decisions based on what other people wanted for me, instead of me making the decision that I want to make for myself. What was God telling me to do, right? Because what God tells you to do, the vision he downloads to you, everybody's not going to understand it. Everybody's not going to agree. Everybody's not going to think it's a great idea. Everybody's not going to even support you, right? But you got to know that it's more for me than that's against me. Whether you see it, whether you hear it, whether you feel like it, that's what the word says. There's more for us than that's against us. This is my real mama, the one who birthed me out her womb 39 years ago, my real one. Mama, I don't know if you remember saying this to me one time. I'm pretty sure you do. You said, baby, you just say what it is God told you to say. Man, that was so freeing. I said, woo. It was like somebody took the muzzle off, and I say, shoot. Well, listen, if I got my mother's blessing, hey, it's on and popping now. And sometimes you don't even know why God has you talking about certain things, because you don't even know the depths and details of people's heart and what they went through. But he'll allow you to release a word that people can say, woo, that was surely for me. You know how people say, oh, that was a rhema word for me, right? Because God will use you at that moment for people to hear what it is you need them to hear. I was watching NCSI Los Angeles, right? I used to watch SUV and all those things, but then I used to be scared and all that stuff, so I don't watch that no more, right? So when I do turn on TV, I like to watch LL because he fine. So I was watching tonight, and it's two video. It caught my attention, so I rewind it and record it, and I'm going to post them on my page soon. But one of the girls talked about how it was a mother and a son. And he wanted her to, he was saying, you know, are you going to do the first dance with me at my wedding? She's like, no. He was like, come on, why? And he was like, you know, your wife and her mother-in-law can do better. And, you know, I don't want people to laugh at me. She was like, they're going to do better. He was like, first of all, it's not a competition. A lot of times people get so caught up in competition. Collaborate more than compete. And the only person really that we're competing with is ourselves. I always say, outdo the best you from yesterday. I try to outdo the best Simone from yesterday. I try to be the best version of who I am when I wake up from the day before. If y'all see some of my my videos, when I first started making Facebook Lives like 5 years ago, phew, some of them might be like, Simone, why was you doing that? You ain't had nobody to tell you don't get on live. But it's made me better today. So yes, ma'am, let God use you. Yes, mama. So make a decision, because this is what I know from personal experience. When you make a decision based on somebody else, you would never stick to it. You got to make decisions based on what it is that you desire. What are the desires God placed in your heart? What is the thing he's told you to do? D is make a decision. I, so we're going down the dirty yes. The I is invest in where you want to go. Like invest in yourself, whether that's reading, whether that's study to show yourself approved, not study so you could go and try to make it seem like you better than somebody else. We're not studying because we want to make it seem like we know all this word. Because guess what? The word we know is a word we got to live by, and the word we're going to be measured and judged by. Hallelujah. So there are some verses I read. I say, God, I ain't even read that. Because I'm supposed to live that now, right? So you ain't studying because you want to show off to other people. You studying because you wanted to help you. And that's in business, that's in ministry, in your family, whatever it is you want to do, study, invest in where you want to go. And then sometimes you're gonna have to invest in people and programs and things and situations, because it can cut down half the time of your learning curve if somebody's already did what it is that you want to do. I heard this from I can't think his name, but he's an apostle de la Hosa, I think his name is. I heard him say this. I don't know, I just kind of caught this Facebook, YouTube one night. You know how you watch a video and it goes to a next video and it kept going. I don't even know why I never stopped it. But anyway, I listened to him one night. He says, don't take criticism from people who have done at least twice as much as what you're trying to do one time. People can't tell you about, oh, you shouldn't write that story, you shouldn't tell it, if they ain't never wrote a story, if they ain't never published a book, if they ain't never did anything. Take criticism from somebody who has successfully done something as twice as much as what you're doing. Not that people can't give their opinions, because people definitely give their opinions, but to let it stop you and stagnate you, please don't do that to yourself. Invest in where you want to go. And sometimes when people are charging for their time, for their skills, for their knowledge, if it's too expensive for you at the time, you just realize maybe this is not the person I need to work with. This is not what I need to get right now. But the time will come when you will be able to afford them. And if not, you just ask God, can you send me somebody else who can get me the same information and cut down my learning curve half the time it would take if I watch YouTube videos, if I Google all night, if I watch all these lives. Help me place the right people in my life. Invest in where you want to go. And sometimes you may invest in things you might like, man, I'm not even using it right now. The day you need it is the day you will have it. The day you need it is the day that you will have it. I look at this as I look at like ministry, where I start off. I start off at a Baptist church back home. God bless their soul. When I grew up, we only had church first and third Sunday. We had Sunday school every Sunday, but we only had church first and third Sunday. So when I went to college and my friends said they went to church every Sunday, I'm thinking, girl, what kind of church you going to, right? It's still like that to the day. They have church first and third Sunday, right? So what I took and learned from them, it prepared me for when I graduated from school. Because when I was in college, I ain't do no church. I was partying, and my mom's up here, but I was getting high, smoking weed, getting strong. I know she's like, oh my God, I was doing all this stuff, right? I was going to clubs and strip clubs and all kinds of, I was just a wild, crazy person. But I had a mom who just loved me through. And she said, Simone, God didn't create you like that. That's what she told me one night. God didn't create you like that. So I knew, okay, God didn't create me like this. I don't know why I'm doing all this stuff, right? But I just lived a very loose lifestyle in college, right? So it wasn't until I moved to Greensboro that I went to another Baptist church, New Light Missionary Baptist Church. Senior pastor, Dr. Carter H. Brown Sr., he's an older man. He was an older preacher, the older man now. He's an older man now, right? So the things I learned there, it grew me. It prepared me for when I got to Charlotte, to University City Church, right? Under Pastor Michael Anthony Stevens, right? It prepared me for that. And then when I got here, I was under my leadership of my apostle Nikki. That prepared me for what I'm going. So when I came here, man, they used to pray like, this is not really, but I'm exaggerating, right? It was like fire will fall from heaven for those prayers. And I'm like, woo, I never prayed like that before. So I would just sit and listen until I got built up and I can pray, pray the scriptures too, right? It prepared me. Now, October, our pastor, we have a new pastor. His name is Pastor Peter's one of her sons that she groomed, and our pastor is still there, but she's now sitting under the leadership of our new pastor. And so it's like that. You don't know where you're going to take that information and the level that you will use it at. But at every junction of your journey, I promise you, when you need it, it's going to come out. Be a good student. Invest in where you want to go. So that's the D, the I, the R is read. When I tell you reading is so fundamental, and I'm not saying this because I'm a reading teacher. I'm not saying this because, I got to tell students this every day. Sometimes they'll say, Miss Walden, why we do all this reading in your class? I mean, like, and I always say this, what? I was like, what class is this? And then somebody will be like, reading. Exactly. We read a lot because it's reading class, right? Read. 27% of people, according to Pew Research, last year said that people have testified, well, people have acknowledged that they have never read a book all year long. There are some people. I have this book. It's called Read to Grow Rich. I know there's a book called Think to Grow Rich. Our book said Read to Grow Rich. And it talks about how most people never pick up another book when they graduate from high school. So the fact that you read, the fact that you get knowledge, the fact that you are seeking out more information, you are above at least 27% of Americans. 27% of people who are reading. So reading is so fundamental. That's one of the key metrics that separates groups of people: literacy, the ability to read and the ability to write, right? There's a correlation, a huge correlation between the school to prison pipeline with those who can read. I had a friend one time, and he's still my friend. We just don't talk anymore. But he has spent a bulk of his life in prison, in federal prison. He's very articulate. I remember he told me one time, he was like, Nay, when I came to middle school, all of them, they ain't really like us talking to each other, but all of them, they was all for you to get your education, but they would always say I would never be anything. Because, he came from Baltimore, kind of like he was in the streets. And so he remembers that at a grown man, how those people who were supposed to be educators would say that to him. Now, while he made some bad decisions and he's still in prison now, he used to tell me, because I don't talk to him anymore. He used to tell me how so many men in prison cannot read, how he would have to read so many of the letters that people would send his homies in prison because they can't read. Literacy is so important, especially for the man, the Black man. We have to be able to read to our children. Children who grow up in the home with books and people reading to them or having access to books, there is research that shows they do much better in school and they do much better in life. We have to read. It's one of the fundamental things that we need to be in power. I read another statistic that said this, and I'm like, wow. It says that if you put books in a home, it is as equally powerful as having a father who can read in the home. Now, that's one of the studies I read the other day, and I was like, wow, reading is so, so important. Please read to your children, read to your grandparents, read to each other. Like, a lot of stuff I have to read out loud because I have to be able to comprehend it, right? Read out loud. I always tell my students, practice reading at least 10 minutes out loud. That way you can self-correct. Because if your first time read is in front of people, it's like you're stumbling. Read. Practice reading. I'm telling you to bless your soul. So DIRT. The first T is, what is the, do you know I was recording a video the other day and I got all caught up on the first T too. And I kept saying, why can't I think of the first T? I'm going to come back to that T. So DIR, so read. T, I don't know why I get caught up on missing the T. The Y. The first Y is yield. Yield your ear to God. We got to be able to tune out people and opinions and all this stuff and yield to God. What is God telling you to do? And yield to him. Sometimes people come into our lives, they have the best intentions for us. They have the best prescription or the best hopes for us. And well, I believe sometimes maybe God did tell them that. But if it doesn't bear witness in your soul, you have to yield to what God is telling you. What did he tell you to do? The second Y is yes. Say yes to him before you say yes to them. A yes, Lord. A yes every day. I give you a new yes today. I give you a new yes this hour. I give you a new yes this month. I give you a new yes this year. A yes, Lord. And when you say yes, that's not always something that's going to come easy. That's not always something that's going to come and you're going to feel good about it. I remember I was saying this. Yup. Teaching to share your talents for the will of God. Yup. I remember I just say, Lord, I want to be the hands and feet of Jesus. Make me the hands and feet of Jesus. And one day he said to me, you realize my hands was pierced, right? You realize that. You realize my hands was pierced, right? You realize my my feet were broken, right? You realize that. So a lot of times, I can speak for Simon. I was saying things that sounded good until I got the real revelation of what that means. A yes. A yes mean yes, Lord, to God means sometimes you gotta deny family, you gotta deny friends, you gotta deny flesh, you gotta deny. It's definitely a dangerous prayer, Miss Joyce. You gotta desire your own career choices, the only things you want to do. When I tell y'all, I never wanted to be talking about none of this stuff. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Like, that was never what I wanted to do. If it, I'm pretty sure my mama ain't even see this, right? This was never something I wanted to do. But really, when I got a hold of that Jeremiah 20 and 9 scripture, that I'm trying to hold it in, I just can't do it. I just can't. So it's like, well, let me just share, right? So the second Y is yes, Lord, and then S, set your own sharing table. Right? David says this in Psalms 23. I prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies, right? This is what the Lord says. And why I don't focus on my enemies, this is what God told me when I first started doing Facebook Live. And I share this all the time. He says, Seminary, you're not name dropping. The only name you dropping is Jesus. Because if I be lifted up, I will draw people to me. So while there's a lot of situations and circumstances I go through, when I talk about it, I'm talking about in a testimony format or sharing in intimate, small settings where, I'm using it for a teaching moment or a sharing moment. There's a lot of stuff that happened. There's a lot of times people say little shady stuff to me. There's a lot of times people say like real cutthroat stuff to me. I got one of the most cynical text messages yesterday. I want to pimp slap this person, right? But I ain't about to come out here and name no names, because you know what? When you start harping over what people did to you, you give them satisfaction. I won't even give them the satisfaction to name their name. I won't even give people the satisfaction to take my time to blast them or do all this on my post. They're not even that important. When you start giving in and feeding into that, you make them a priority. And I said this before. That's why I don't recycle evil. There's a lot of nasty things that people post on Facebook. There's a lot of nasty things, bad things that happen. But I'm not going to be a perpetuator of evil. I'm not going to be a perpetuator of unity. So why maybe I only post nice, cute stuff. I don't know how people take it. But I ain't going to spend my time talking about what haters did, because God says, I will prepare a table for you in the presence of them. Right? So you just keep living. We don't focus on the people who did us wrong. We focus on the people that we can serve. We focus on the people that we can build up. We focus on the people who's built us up. We focus on people that we can pray for. God says, pray for your enemies. Bless those that curse you and despitefully use you. So our job is to do that. Now, I think a lot of times, especially because women 50 and older love me and I love them back, right? A lot of times people get confused or they have a hard time accepting when they want to tell their story, because it's like, well, I won't really want to out people, and you just want to love everybody. But most of the pedophiles and molesters that we see started out of families. It comes from family dysfunction. It comes from family abuse. It comes from the dysfunction within the family. And a lot of people, they'll hush that, sweep that under the rug, but then they'll talk about everybody else they see on the news post or they see in the paper that they don't even know, but they don't even address the stuff in their homes. So a lot of people have a hard time really talking about the things that's happened to them because they don't want it to be exposed, but they want to be exposed to everybody. Listen. If you have a story that you want to tell, that's your own personal story. Now, I'm not saying tell somebody else's story, but if somebody happened to be in it, you can tell that story without, making them look bad. Because I believe in addressing the actions and leaving the person intact. And that's why I I ain't gonna say fall out. That's why I don't really, when I see people attacking people and not their actions, I fall back. If you're the type of person who can't handle confrontation and you have to attack a person's character instead of the actions, I fall back, because I'm like, nah. I know it may have been wrong, but you don't gotta talk about what I look like. You don't gotta talk about my bill. You don't have to talk about my preferences or my choices. You just talk about the action that you don't like. And then the spirit of reconciliation really has to be something that we are operating in, because you know how it felt when you did something, and I know how it felt when I've done something. You already feel convicted. A lot of people feel condemned. So the last thing I want to do is for you to come and talk about what you know and whatever. Listen, just help me get out of the situation. Encourage me, pray me through, help me address the actions and not the person. You calling people's name and all kinds of stuff. Address the action. I don't like what you did. A lot of times people argue and their arguments go on for months and years and quarreling because people refuse to address the action. They found all this other stuff instead of, listen, you said this, you did this hurt my feelings. This didn't sit well with me. This embarrassed me. I felt ashamed about that. Like, we have to address people's actions. One thing I like about Brene Brown is because she talk about crucial conversations, courageous conversations. Some of the most courageous conversation we have to have is with ourselves. I read another study that talks about the greatest lies, the most lies we ever tell are the ones that we tell ourselves. We have to have courageous conversations with ourselves to really look and evaluate where we are. Put the mirror of the gospel up into our face and say, Lord, how do I measure up here? I don't got time to be looking at the log and somebody on the speck in somebody else's eye, because I got a big old log in mine. I don't got time to be looking about what you're doing in your marriage and what you're doing in your relationship and what you're doing in your ministry and what you're doing in your business and what you're doing with your friends. I got to keep looking at what is Simone doing that's going to be pleasing to God. We all going to stand and give an account one day. We all going to give an account one day. He's not going to say, girl, what was Miss Joyce doing? What was your mama doing, Simone? What was your brothers doing, girl? What was your pastor doing? He gonna say, what was you doing? This is what my friend husband said to me one time. Well, he was just joking, but it's really true. He says, when I get to heaven, when God starts showing the TV, he says it's gonna be like a TV where he replay your life, and I'm gonna be like, oh God, I don't want to see that. Oh God, fast forward for that. Like, our life is gonna be on display for him to go and see what it is that we did. That's why Jeremiah 17:9 says the heart is wicked and it's deceitful above all things. I did a teaching. Maybe I'll revisit it soon. The heart is a heart matter. The heart is one of the smallest organs in our body, but it has the greatest impact. Our heart was made for believing. We can believe right or we can believe wrong. Some people have been taught incorrect information. Incorrect learning, incorrect teaching equals incorrect learning. Some people just have to relearn some things. Some people have to relearn a different way of things. And until we get to really understand the depths of people's story, we really don't have an opinion about their story. We can address the actions. But even when we address the action, may God give us a spirit of discernment. Say, Father, why did they do that? What is really going on with them? Why would they behave like that? Some of the nastiest people that you may see, that you may encounter, there's a reason why they like that. Some of the most promiscuous people, there's a reason why they like that. When I was loose and in the club and smoking and all that, it was a reason. I was trying to mask pain. I was trying to hide insecurities, right? So I was acting out. It was a reason. Whatever people are doing, whatever you may do with your action, there's a reason. And we got to deal with our reasons. Why am I acting like this? Why am I behaving like this? Why do I feel like this? And by the time we finish analyzing and evaluating and holding up this Bible to be our standard, I promise you, we won't have time to be talking about what Susie and Christopher and Keisha and them and Becky and and Roland and whoever else you can name, right? We just won't. Yeah. Help us, Holy Spirit. I'm telling you. And then I don't know why I cannot remember this last T for the dirty yes. Like, I'm really like, yesterday I messed it up. So decide, invest where you want to go, read, think on paper. Think on paper. Do you know that if you plan your day, if you spend 10 to 12 minutes planning your day, it can save between an hour in 2 hours every day, but your execution of it. Planning helps with procrastination. Probably like, what? Planning helps with procrastination. Plan your day. I'm gonna be sharing a strategy that I have that I've been implementing. Pookie and them. It's called MSOCs. MSOCs. What are the things you must do? What are the things you should do that if you don't do them, there's going to be a minimum consequence? What are the things you can outsource that you don't actually have to do? And then what are the things you X out? What are the things I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm concerned, but I'm not responsible, so I really can't do this, right? We have to plan out our days. And sometimes you take 10 minutes to make a list of all things I need to do. Sometimes it get X'd out. I wish I had my notebook right here. But I remember one day I said, man, I had about 75 things. And I showed it to my best friend that's texting me now. And I said, Sierra, hey, Dr. Lorinda. I said, hey, boo. I said, these are things I got to do today. She's like, no, I said, these are things I got to do. And she says, you don't plan on doing them all today? I said, yeah. She was like, nah, boo, you're not going to get them done. And surely I did. It took me like a whole month to get them done. But I thought on paper and I wrote them down and I went to check back. And it feels good when you have a list of things and you can go and check off and say, I did this. And when you think on paper, it shows you just how productive you are. When you think on paper and you write your stuff down, it'll show you just how productive you are. And then if you happen not to do the things you wrote on paper, write down what you did do, right? If you spent 2, 3, 4 hours on social media, write that down. So then the next time you say, oh my God, I don't even have time to plan that event. Oh my God, I didn't even have time to read my word. Oh my God, I didn't have time. Go back and replace what you wrote on the paper that didn't serve you well. Go back and replace that with things that do serve you well. Go back and replace that with things that's going to help you. When you see people coming out on social media who really have something to say, I'm not just talking about, people who just, do stuff. But when you see people who come out who really have something to say, it's because they planned that. I'm telling you this stuff because I've studied these statistics about reading and studying. I put this speech together, right? The sharing table, that's my true story. So I don't have to plan that. That's my life, right? Going to the club and smoking and drinking, that's my life. I ain't have to write that down. But this other stuff, people plan that, right? It's not that just people are just, oh my God, they're just genius. We study, we read, we plan. Think on paper. Start writing your day down. What are the things you're going to do? Even if your goal is, okay, I'm going to sleep for 8 hours. Hey, you write that down. I'm going to sleep for 8 hours. Manage your day. It's people talk about time management. Is really life management because we don't have the power to cancel. We don't have the power to create time. All we can do is operate in it. So we really managing our life. Like they call it like a life insurance policy. I don't get this policy while I'm living. There's a death policy. You don't even get it. The people that you assign as your beneficiaries get that, right? So we got to look at things as what they are and not what we perceive it to be. Because remember, I said the greatest lie people tell is the ones they tell themselves every single day. So don't be a liar, first thing. And definitely don't lie to yourself, right? So, yeah. So that's what the dirty yes is. Prioritizing yourself, making yourself a priority and not an option, and overcoming the dirty yes. Stop saying yes to everybody else and no to yourself. Stop saying yes to people and no behind their back. And when I say you, I'm not talking like you in a derogatory or meaningful way. I'm talking about people in general. And Seminate is a person, so I am included in that. So I want to share that this is Speak Life. Well, it uses 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight it was 10:10, right? John 10:10. A thief does not come except to steal, kill, and destroy. But God has come to give us life and life more abundantly. So that was a dirty yes. I didn't share in depth of that yesterday because we had 15 minutes. And one thing I always share, thank you, Dr. Lorinda. One thing I always share is that whenever someone invites you to their platform, always honor the time they're giving, because planning any event, large, small, medium, whatever you call it, it takes work, and you don't want your hard work to go to waste because somebody want to shine or somebody gets, they just get it caught up in the moment. No, you gotta honor that. There's a lot of great people that I've had who have great messages in store that I would never invite back to the platform that God has given me because they did not honor their time. And when I say honor their time, I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3 minutes. I'm talking about kept going and kept going and kept going. And that was something that I had to learn, that when people don't honor their time, you got to be able to step up and say, thank you so much. And I see Dr. Cheryl do it. She does it so gracefully, right? Thank you so much. We appreciate that so much. And so honor the time set. Even when you have a lot more to say, you can take that, what they call content or what you wrote down, and share it at another time. No, maybe you wouldn't be able to get that same opportunity to share it all there, but share what you need to share there and then share the rest later. Overcoming the dirty yes is my signature story. So I'm going to be sharing this over and over and over again. I remember I listened to Carlika Facebook Live one day. I just happened to click on it. She said her coach told her. She never mentioned a coach name, so I always give her credit. She said her coach told her, you don't change the message, you just change the audience. So you're going to be hearing the dirty yes many times over, right? Because I'm going to just perfect this and continue to practice it and get better, because it's going to be helpful and beneficial to someone else as it's continue to be helpful and beneficial to me. So yeah, honor the time that people give you. Honor when people invite you on. Honor when, even if it's there's 5, and I think Dr. Cheryl talked about this yesterday. There are 5 predominantly speaking type of speaking engagements: pay to play, when you want to pay to sale, revenue share, where you collect information, you give out a free gift and you collect information. So it's lead generation. And then the other one is I forgot what the other one are, but there's 5 major type of speaking engagements, right? So you got to figure out where you play. If they say no selling, no selling. If they say you can collect information, collect information. If it's a free opportunity, but you can say, oh, free, and you make your money on the back end by selling a product, then you do all that, but honor that. Even if you feel like, you know what, I don't know if I really want to do that. If you honor that, people will honor the stuff that you create. So a lot of people have missed out on opportunities because it's like, nope, they're going to be disrespectful. They ain't going to honor what you asked them. So we just don't want to invite you again. So keep it in mind for those of you who are speaking on anything. Anytime people ask you something, even if you calling them and they say, hey, they only have a couple minutes, don't keep going on and on and on and on. If they done told you that they got a couple minutes, right? Because then the next time you want to talk to them, they will not answer. They will ignore your calls, or they just won't respond, right? Now, at least that's what somebody does. Yeah. All right. So I've been talking about Pretty Heal. If some of you saw the shirts, Pretty Heal, Mama, I got to order you a shirt and send it to you too. Pretty Heal. Let me put it up really quick. Pretty Heal, the Pretty Heal woman. And so we have officially, I've kicked off the Pretty Heal spokesperson. So I sent it out to my email list. I was in awe of the person, one of the people who signed up already. I'm gonna reach out to her because I want us to do a Facebook Live, like to really kind of talk about some things that's transpired with us, growing into a friendship and working together. I really, hey, Dr. Lorinda, hey, Mama, are you still here? Mama, I hope you're still here. This is what I used to say all the time. I don't know if I ever told my mom this to like in person, but I used to always say, God loved my mama so much that he put other women in my life that would help me when I was running around like a crazy woman and she was nowhere in sight. When she didn't even know the craziness I was doing. God loved my mama so much that he placed other women in my life to help direct and guide me on this path of life. And so, Mama, we have Dr. Lorinda up here. She's such a great help. She's met I don't think she ever met one of the ladies. Miss Crystal, you met Miss Crystal in Wilson, Miss Melinda, my apostle, my spiritual mom, all these women who God sent in my life at different jobs. Miss Tony, so many women. I'm not what I am on my own. Guys, I'm not what I am on my own. It's because people saw something in me that I couldn't say. That's why I appreciate Dr. Coach Cheryl Wood so much because she saw me. She saw something in me. I never talk about him a lot, but I'm going to reach out to him probably tomorrow. His name is Malcolm Tan. He's actually cousins with Dr. Cheryl. I met Malcolm, like I met him in 2018 at Dr. Akina Finch's conference in Nashville, Tennessee. And he was talking about marketing and all this stuff. Came back, set up an appointment with him, and he helped me. And I met with Mr. Malcolm twice in his office. He was helping me put together my program and I was putting together this event, and I got really, really sick. Like in that December, I got really, really sick, so I had to stop. We couldn't finish the event. It was the event that's with Pretty Heal. It was called Pretty Broken, Hansley Hardin, Healing the Hurting Church Girl. Hey, Jamie! Hey! And thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see the replay. You know, sometimes I have a hard time going back and watching my own replays. I'm like, oh, man. But Mr. Malcolm gave me his whole marketing program. This thing costs thousands of dollars. And he says, I believe in you. He says, when you believe how powerful you are, he says, then you will execute and you'll charge your worth. He gave me his whole program for free. I still had a program for free, and I never paid him outside of my couple $100 to meet with him. But that man said, I see something in you, and I believe you. And he still had gave me his program. You have to get around people who believe in you more than you believe yourself. You got to get people who see you beyond your current circumstance. That's why I love my pastor, because she always speaks life. I could tell her some of the most heinous, gross things, some sick stuff, because ministry ain't cute. So everybody who want to be a pastor and preacher, listen, the stories that people come and tell you, honey, the stuff that people have told me, the reason why it doesn't bother me anymore, and I think because he put me on the streets of DC that kind of really built my stamina up, is because he says cast your cares on him because he cares for you. So what happens is when people come and cast their cares on me now, I just cast them on him. God, I don't even know what to do with this. I don't even know how to think about this. I don't even know how to feel about this. So I'm going to give you their burdens, right? Right. Ministry is dirty. People got dirty past, dirty histories. I always say this. You can edit a picture, but you can't edit your past. Hashtag that. You can edit a picture, but you can't edit your past. It is what it is. We just live beyond that. Thank you so much, Jamie. I love Jamie so much. And I'm so grateful that God allowed us to connect in EE Squad. And then allow me to connect with Melissa, who's my mentee now in Canada. God will use whoever. My first book client, Miss Gracie, lost her sight. Then it was 10 years ago. She was like, God told me you're supposed to help me write my first book. I say, nah, Miss Gracie, I don't help people write books. I just know enough to do my own. She said, no, God told me. She had lost her sight. I was like, how am I help this lady? That was my first book client, and 3 years later, I've helped many. I'm going to do a tribute to all the people I've worked with this week. I know Happy Authors Appreciation Day was like a week or so ago, where the student teacher going to do hers this week, right? Melissa, Jamie, who have hearing impairments, right? That God will allow me to connect with these women, right? It's not going to look like what we thought it's going to look like. He will expand you. If you just say yes for real, he'll place opportunities in your life that you will know it was nobody but God who did that. That was nobody but God who orchestrated it. I don't even have enough sense. I ain't have enough knowledge. I don't have enough degrees. I ain't read enough stories to know how to do that, Lord. I don't have enough connections to know how to get connected like that, Lord. Some things in your life, you will only be able to trace it back to him. Some things in your life, you can only say, God did that. Some things in your life, you can only be able to say, God did that. Yeah, Miss George, let's edit picture, not your past. You can edit a picture. We can Photoshop. It's not Photoshop, but Photoshop. But you can't edit your past. You can edit a picture. We can gloss it up, we can floss that up, we can make that look real good. But your past is your past. And sometimes we got to stop allowing our past to hold us back. Like, yeah, we messed up. Yeah, we did stuff. Yeah, I'm not proud of that. But listen, I'm not the same person. And I always share this, why some of you have met me now in a different stage of where I am. I used to be a not so kind person. Right? So some of the things people really did say about me or could say about me is absolutely true. And I be thinking, dang, girl, you was terrible. I remember one of my, I guess you call her a friend now. Yep, some things Jones said God did it, Miss Jones. I'm telling you, something you said God did that. She told me something about me maybe a month ago. I was like, what? What? I did what? You'd be surprised at the stuff you did when you realize how far God has brought you. You would be surprised some of the stuff you did when you realize how far God has really brought you. So listen, we doing Pretty Heal. Pretty Heal is just more than a shirt. Pretty Heal is more than just a saying. I had a group. Jamie was in the group. And Jamie, you remember when I said God told me I have to archive this group? I didn't even know how to archive a group. So I just deleted everybody. And then after I deleted everybody, I found a thing to say archive the group. And I was like, okay. So last Thursday, when he says Pretty Healed, one of my my realtor, that's what she is to me now. She emailed me. Well, she texted me Thursday and asked me about, creating a space on Facebook for her group. And immediately God says, charge for that. So I was like, okay. So it came to me. I am starting a membership group. It's called Pretty Healed Women. It's going to be a worldwide network of pretty healed women. And so while I'm going to start the group again, I know that's why I was shutting it down. I thought maybe, I don't know what I thought, but now we're going to start Pretty Healed. So you see the shirts that say Pretty Healed. You can go get you ones $25. The hoodies are, I think, $35. You can get both for $60. But Pretty Healed ain't just a face. Pretty Healed ain't just your body. Pretty Healed ain't just the clothes you wear. We're powerful, not because we want to be somebody and try to outdo people. We're powerful because we lean on the strength of God. When we're weak, we're strong in Him. Pretty healed women. We're powerful. And you may say, I don't feel like that right now. It's okay. Because I ain't feel like a whole lot of stuff before, but I was speaking that word and I was saying that word until it became a reality. You're powerful. You are resilient. Women, and I shared this the other night, I'll share it again. God says, I put enmity between Satan and the woman. Do you know how powerful we are? That God purposely put enmity between us. That means we can defeat the devil. We are resilient. Women are resilient. We're educated and edified. Educated doesn't mean in a degree. Educated is what do you know? What have you executed? What knowledge can you impart to the next generation or to the one you're in or the one that came before you? Edified. We build ourselves up. We build each other up. It's going to be a place where we celebrate what each other is doing. Thankful. Women who are just thankful that we're still living, thankful we got our right mind, thankful that my son is still here. I'm not sure my mama probably, I think she probably went to sleep because she got to go, guys, for her birthday in October. I was so upset with her, but a couple days before her birthday, October 5th, we like born a couple days. My birthday was September 29th, birthday October 5th. I go home that Sunday. Her husband tells me she was in a car accident. I was like, what? And she didn't tell me. She said, I didn't want you to worry. I was so mad at my mom. Thank God she's okay. So she has to go to her physical therapy early in the morning. So that's probably why she fell off, right? And y'all are very rarely hear me talk about my personal things with my family, my friends. Sometimes I think my family, sometimes they used to get like annoyed because I didn't like posting. Because I have lots of pictures. I love pictures. But this is what I know about a picture too. You can hashtag this too. Pictures are good for your ego. Relationships are beneficial for your soul. Pictures are good for the ego. Relationships are beneficial for your soul. So while I can post a whole lot of pictures, people say, oh my God, you met them and you've been there. Oh, I could. But do I really know them? Can I really call on them? Can they really impart to me? Do they really know my name? Have they had experience with me? Most of them know. So I don't post a whole lot of stuff. And why I love my family and I can post we was here and we was there and all this. I love them. But a lot of them I don't necessarily have a good relation. Well, let me not say good relationship, a close relationship with, right? So pictures are good to boost us up and say we was here and there and all that, but my family I hold near and dear, so I don't always post them. And then two, it's like I post things that I think will be a benefit to a larger audience. And while my family is very, very important to me, I do share about them. But a lot of times I share about it in intimate spaces where, I want to make it plain to other people, honey, you not the only one that went through that. And I understand, because listen, this was my situation. This is what happened. One of the greatest things that's happened to me, one of the greatest things that happened to me on my birthday is my youngest cousin. I hope I don't cry about this. Whew. She's probably like 8 years younger than me. So she's 31, I think. She was like, Miss S, as they call me. Her and her sisters and their children call me Miss S. Miss S, let's start a Bible study on Tuesdays. My birthday was on a Tuesday, right? And I was like, okay. She said, but you're going to lead it. What? And ever since then, we missed like 2 Tuesdays. But the fact that she want to get on a Zoom and her cousin to lead her with a Bible study, I'm like, God, only you could orchestrate that. She could ask 1 million people. She got Bible study at her own church, but to say, I see something in my cousin. I see something in my cousin that I want her to impart into me, right? Those are the things that I don't have to share with people. When I started praying, I started a prayer call for my family like in 2017. Every Saturday morning, I would get up and pray for my family. Some of them would come on. Some of them would listen to the replay, praying that God just keep us, that God will heal us, that God will help us. Those are things that I don't always post on social media, but just because you don't see people posting and talking about people, that it doesn't mean they're not important. And that's why you can know when people deal with rejection issues and heavy offensive issues and heavy envious issues, because things come up like that you're like, if you only knew how much I care, if you only knew how much I'm praying and asking God to help us, if you only knew how much the stuff I see really pains me, you would know that I love you more than a post. You would know that I love you more than a Facebook Live. My real friends, and I say this all the time, my real friends know my status before I ever post. The people that you're close to, they know your status before you ever post. Don't ever get so tuned in if people not posting your name and they're not talking about what you've done to them and how you've helped them in your life. There are some things that will grip your heart so much you can't even talk about it, that you don't even have words to articulate how much you care about them, how much they mean to you. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jamie. Whew. Powerful women, resilient women, educated and edified women, thankful women, women who are transformed. We're looking to be transformed. Liquids, gas, and solids, they change. People, we transform. Hey, Dr. Lorinda. People transform. Women who are constantly transforming into who God calls us to be. The word will wash you. Just listening to the word. Sometimes just put your Bible app on, right? I'm telling you, you don't even know what's getting into your spirit. I remember when I first came to mail, some stuff I didn't have to pray about anymore. I just stopped doing it. And I was like, dang, I would think, I ain't even did that anymore. I ain't even prayed about that more. It'll just keep washing you. Just keep washing. Keep washing in the word. Keep washing in the water of the word. It will wash you, and while it's washing you, it is watering the seeds that God is placing. And you're going to grow up and you're going to be a nice, beautiful rose, lily, whatever type of flower you like. You're going to be that. Some of you are already that. You're just growing. Some of the dead leaves that's up there, we got to uproot them so you can keep growing more. Some of you are in places now where it's too small. So God got to replant you into a bigger place. Just keep being washed by the water of the word. Yield it. Again, what is God telling you to do? Seeking him, having people who really can lift you up in prayer. And sometimes it may not always be that they can call you and pray, but it's something powerful about when you ask people to pray for you, that they pick up the phone and say, let me pray with you. Let me pray in your hearing. Or if you got to get on the Zoom or FaceTime, let me pray with you. Not just for you. That builds you up when somebody's calling your name and you see how people really, really care about you. That stuff means a lot. So We starting a Pretty Heal movement. It's a membership group. It's going to be $11.99 a month. I'm not sure we're going to do a Facebook group space, but we're definitely going to have our own membership group. And, it's really going to allow me to just really pour and pour and pour, because it's so much I have on the inside of me. And I just really, yes, Jamie, enlarge my territory, Jesus, right? I really want to just pour and pour and pour so much. I want to pour it out and get pulled back in, pour it out and get pulled back in, pour it out and get pulled back in. And so I'm excited about that. I will share more information about that this week with you guys. I send it out to people who sign up for my news list, my email list. I am doing thank you, Miss Mavis. I'm doing it's called the Dirty Yes Detox Challenge. It is starting Sunday, November 20. No. Okay, today is November 8th. So I don't know why I got the 29th. I think I was looking at October. We're going to start this November 15th. So in 2 weeks, the detox, the Dirty Yes Detox. These 8 things I went through with you ladies, that's right. It's a Pretty Heal movement. I'm telling you, this thing going to be worldwide. I'm going to get a trademark and everything. Like, it's really going to be something serious. The 15th. I have to tell those people who signed me, I say it's the 15th. But it's going to be 8 days, starting from Sunday to Sunday, from 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the reason why I chose that time is because you can see I love to talk, right? So I had to choose a time where it's going to really put me at a hard stop. Because at 8 o'clock, I got to log off and I log into my school account, and then I got to start teaching at 8 o'clock. So at 8:30. So at 8 o'clock, I have to be done. So from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, we're going to do is conference calls. So you don't got to get on no screen. It's going to be me praying, open up in prayer, give you a word, and give you one strategy for each of these principles, right? So that's 8 days, 30 minutes, 8 days. From that, I'm going to share with you the process of where we're going with it. For that, I'm going to offer people opportunity to sign up for a 8-week mastermind with me, Overcoming the Dirty Yes. Oh my God. Hey, guys, y'all gotta say congratulations to my little sister, India L. She just had the sweetest baby girl on the 5th, on last Tuesday, I believe. India, was a Tuesday? Last Wednesday morning. I kept texting her like so much, like, you okay? You had the baby here yet? India, I love you so much. So this is where we going. So we got the 8-day, the Dirty Yes Detox challenge. It's free. I'm gonna give you a handout with it. It's free. After the end of that, I'm gonna offer the 8-week mastermind. You can either take a mastermind and get more, or you can say I want to sign up for the Pretty Heal membership. It's $11.99 a month, right? So those are the two processes. But you can get started if you just take the challenge. You're gonna get started on the things you need to do. Because one of the things I really want us to, Wednesday, had a pretty baby girl Wednesday. Hopefully you can FaceTime me one day, you and the baby. So that's what we going with that. And I put out a call for pretty women spokespeople who are going to come alongside, who going to represent this movement of what God has given me, because I can't do it alone. I heard the first person I ever heard say this was Dr. Melissa Nola Chester. Shout out to Black Educators Route. But I've come to know that it's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, take other people with you. The sharing table. The table that God has set before you in the presence of your enemies. I don't believe it's just a table that you only sit by yourself. But God will create a table where you can bring other people alongside of you. And what used to be maybe a bar stool for just you now becomes a little table for 2 people. And then from 2 people, it becomes family size. And then from family size, it becomes like a banquet style. From banquet style, it becomes like auditorium style. From auditorium style, it becomes worldwide. So whatever your sharing table is right now, you just keep sharing. Whatever table God has set before you, you keep pouring. Whatever he has set before you, you just keep doing. I promise you, God will promote you when it's time. Promotion doesn't come from the north, the south, the east, or the west. It comes from heaven above. Jimmy, you're the best. Sunday, November 15th, 2020, Dirty Yes Detox Challenge, 7:30 a.m. Free 8-week mastermind coming. The Dirty Yes after the 7-day detox. Thank you, Jamie. You so welcome. So, guys, listen, if y'all could just say congratulations to my little sister Minty in the comments. India, she had her baby on Wednesday. A beautiful, that baby came out strong. I mean, she's strong. She's strong and beautiful. So, congratulations again, India. I told all the ladies in our unmute group, so they all said congratulations to you. I know you've been busy nursing and being a great mom. So, they all shouted you out there. So if you have time to go back in there, they all said congratulations. So congratulations. So listen, this has did me well tonight. I told you whenever I say it's not gonna be long, it's gonna be long. So I did say at least an hour. I'm not sure how long we've been up here, an hour 10 minutes, right? John 10:10. The thief comes but to kill, steal, and destroy. But God has come to give us life and more abundantly. You are so welcome. So I love you guys. Be blessed in Jesus' name. Mama, I guess she went to sleep, so she get up early. Mama, I love you. Thank you, Miss Mavis, to India, Minister. Hey, Nina! India! Look who it is. India, guess what? We all have to come out together at some point. India, guess what? Nina is now my pastor. My pastor says that. Thank you, Miss Mason. My pastor say that First Lady is not a title in the Bible. It's some carnal thing people made up. So I don't say that no more. But India, October the 4th, Nina, she got ordained pastor. She was already married to one of the pastors in our church, and her husband got ordained apostle, and he's now our pastor. So if First Lady was a word, Nina is my First Lady now. So God is just expanding us so much. I'm excited to be around people who are elevating and growing. I wrote in my phone tonight a whole big thing about the change of guard in my church, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to post it tomorrow. But one of the things I wrote, and I'm going to read this to you right here. I mean, I'm glad you're here. It says, we are waxing. Well, this is part of it. Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? Can you, from where we started in April, May, you a mom again to a beautiful mother, Arthur. Nina is a pastor. Tilly is she got ordained a minister. So everybody growing, everybody elevating. So, man, listen. So this is one of the posts I'm going to post on my church. So when you see it tomorrow, y'all can be like, oh, she told us tonight. I'm only reading part of it. We are waxing stronger and stronger, and the affliction that rose before will never rise again. I stand with my pastor. I honor, and I will not be a member who causes him grief, but a great joy. And his beautiful wife is my sister, who came all the way from Ivory Coast last year to keep praying for me. She literally, and this is literally, and I share this with her, she literally went from sitting in the last seat in the back of the church to sitting up front beside her husband. Promotion comes from not from the north or the south, but from heaven above. Get in the success circles that God has given you. The impartation is much, much different. I know they talk about the winning circle, but one thing she shared with me one day was about success that God gives you. Get in a success circle because the impartation is different. Hallelujah. I love you guys. I got to go. Guess what? I got an observation this week. Let's pray, Lord. I do well. So I got to go and prepare my lesson plan, right? I know, Miss Mavis. I know, right? I love you guys. I'll be back one day this week. Hopefully. But if not, it's plenty of videos, plenty of posts. I posted me and my mom today. I posted my brother today. Hey, Miss Sharita, success circles. The impartation is different. A success circle, the impartation is different. When the Lord gave me that, when I was sitting on that couch, I said, oh, Lord, that's good. That's good, right? So I don't know, maybe I'll do something around that, a success circle. You got this too, little sister, because God got us. I love you guys. I'll tell you about my observation when it's all said and done. I'm like, as an educator, why are you observing me again? We in a pandemic. I don't want to do no observation. just passed me. That's what I really want to say, but you know, it is what it is. All right, I gotta go. Love you all so much. Have a great night, and I will see you guys in the virtual space some other time. Listen, if you're looking for some prayers, Miss Sharita Melton, she be commanding the morning. Tune in. She command that morning. Tune in. Love you guys. See ya.